What's up, Trekkies? Okay, happy holidays. Not about the holidays. However, I will be sipping on eggnog. As is December 23rd, because I did not pre-record this. And it is already late in the afternoon, so I have barely any good. Anyways, today, since I have a friend who's kind of getting into Star Trek Online, and he kept re-rolling his characters because he rolled a tactical officer, because most people do, which is strange. I mean, it's obviously they roll a character. They roll tactical officers because they're used to seeing The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, where red means command. So they see red uniform means I gotta choose that to be in command, yada yada, because they don't know really how the game runs. Yeah, that's how that is. I mean, I chose science officer thinking things were gonna be way different, but really. That, and I thought you were forced to choose science vessels as a science officer. Everyone was dumb at some point. I was talking to him about what's your play style, how's your flight thing, and he kept choosing like science vessels and cruisers and science vessels because they look cool and they're the iconic ships that he remembers. And I'm like, well, you're probably dying a lot because you really should be in an escort to help with your damage boosting abilities. So we finally got him in an escort, and he got to level 40, and he chose the patrol escort or fleet escort, whatever the damn thing's called now. I figured, and I was telling him that depending on your playstyle, a torpedo or which sort of weapons you want to have will because everyone will be like, oh, he has to choose the anti-proton, but we've discussed before in previous videos that energy type really doesn't matter. It's what color do you want to shoot. I mean, there's added bonus effects like things will do more damage against Undine, so you can put all of those on if you're going to be fighting Undine. But, when it comes down to like fighting Klingons, does it really matter that... Anyways. So we're going to go about playstyles, but more or less space combat. We're going to... Oh boy. We're going to be drawing today! Get it, folks. Yeah. This is terrible. If you don't know what that is, you're not high enough level. So, this is a top-down view because we're looking like it's symmetrical. It's cylindrically symmetrical to an extent. So we're looking at this from top down, and so it's one of the Borg hive ship carrier things. As I've done, because I actually have all three, so I kind of have an idea what to do. As I've seen what's really good, the cruisers, and this is going to be terrible because I don't have multiple colors, like I don't have a yellow one. Besides, you're writing yellow on yellow, it's weird. So, people can do this. What I usually do on my cruisers is let's see if I can do this backwards. I do this. Yeah. People call it a bombing run. But really, it's just because once you get over the ship, or you get next to the ship, I mean, you can just orbit around it if you want. When it has its facing things, but if you go over the top specifically, once you hit about 3/4 of the ship, you hit both firing arcs. So as a cruiser works really well doing this pattern. Because you come in here and you're firing all your main things, and that's still good. And then you're still firing front and front and front and front and front, and then you get near the end and you can't fire your front anymore. But that's when you start turning, and as a cruiser you go really slow. And you turn, and by the time you reach here again, over here, you've reached your front arc again, and then you turn around and then you cross the line and your back arc starts firing away. And meanwhile, I love eject warp plasma, so you can just... It's farting. It's a ship fart. That's what eject warp plasma is. Whether it's green or it's yellow or it's blue. Just what color do you want your farts to be? That's kind of what I do on my science vessel. Also, on the Vesta. I have a tighter turn radius. So, I go just the length of the ship. I kind of... And I do that. I don't need to make sweeping gestures because I have about a 15-degree turn rate. Something like that. Now, what I've seen, this is just, if you want to maintain high defense. If you want to maintain high defense, you got to keep yourself moving. And this is a good pattern for all of those. That's pretty good for escorts too. but they have a really high turn rate, so they can go straight. And they can go, and you know, if you're not being attacked in any way on one of these ships, don't move. Get inside these little bars and everything will fire. Sometimes I'll go, like I said, I'll go on and I'll dip underneath, or I'll go over the one that sticks straight out. But that's just how I go on that. And this works for, you know, this is just one giant ship. This doesn't really work well for Borg cubes, but the idea of, you know, with cruisers, with Borg cubes. Let's get to another page. God, can I draw a Borg cube? That was terrible. That's a Borg quasi-rectangle. Anyways, so as a cruiser, you're always pretty much going to want a broadside. So you go, cruiser, you circle it, you broadside all the time. Win. Maybe you dip in a little bit if you have aceton beam, but they've widened its arc so you don't have to turn too terribly much more. You just bzz, and then once it's off cooldown, bzz, you know, so, but, and then as an escort, you can just sit right there and just blast away at one facing. But as a science vessel, as I've noticed, what's really good, and I tend to do this on a lot of the bigger ships, if I'm not sitting still. If I'm not sitting still on a cube, but I'm getting somewhat attacked, I need to stay moving, I do this. I'm gonna draw this to myself first. Everything's getting real pretty! But that's how I do it. It gets a little bit more exaggerated depending on how fast I'm going. Like if the cruiser has up its maneuvering thing, then this gets wonky. But it keeps me at full speed. I have a good turn rate to be able to pull off these. And then every point within these little arcs, this little bit right there, what happens is I get, work right there, yeah. Within one of those, as I'm facing the cube, we'll say that it's facing away, facing in, facing away, facing in. So every time I'm facing in is when my cooldowns are up, like gravity well and stuff, because everything's on a forward arc. Still a good arc, but you can just like power away at all your stuff, and then you turn away and you shoot another facing. This is only if you're under attack. If you're like taking damage from anything for some other reason, then you're going to want to do your shield things, because the Borg cube at least can really plow into your one shield facing pretty badly, especially when it starts tractor beam and a kinetic beam. But you want to go in and out, in around, in around, because every time you come back around, like I said, this could even be looking cloverleaf shaped to an extent. Every time your cooldowns are up, Gravity Well, Tychon's Rift, Energy Siphon, I think you still need to phase for it. I haven't used it in so long. But they all need to, anything that uses your deflector dish, basically, you need to face it. And that's beneficial for that. Like again, escorts, park yourself in one spot if you ain't taking damage. If you are taking damage, what's good on Borg cubes, because they're big and cumbersome, unlike Boyo on the back, you really want to go, and you know, and while you're going in, just like, and then try to get back out of range while you wait for your cooldowns. You know, and you've got your little tactical initiative to lower your cooldowns and stuff, so you can keep firing at that one thing, but you want to dip back out, go beyond 10 kilometers, and you want to circle back in, because they're a little cumbersome to get around. If it's a small ship but a big thing, like you're pretty good. Anyways, this is getting long. This is just how I fly all my various ships, and how, if you have any suggestions on how you fly your ship, specifically a ship like the Chell Gret cruiser, sure, comment below. Tell me how you fly your ships. Comment here, not in any forums this happens to get placed on, because I don't read those forums because I'm in a different fleet. When it comes to gates, interesting thing about gates, because people still run Infected Elite. ISE. Because why? It's easy! It has no lose condition. This is dumb. You guys are not watching from under. So anyways, the targeting point of a gate. Now this is like playstyles for beginners. You know, if you've been playing for a long time, you know where the targeting spot on a gate is. Right there. When you fire abilities at something like a Gravity Well, when you fire a Tychon's Rift, when you fire anything that's like not just considered itself a beam, but has to target itself on a location that's not torpedoes also, goes up to the top. Now, here's the fun thing. It's hollow. What I do, and this I do this on cruisers, and I do this on my Vesta. I may do it on my carrier. I haven't actually played with that carrier too terribly much. I don't feel comfortable with it enough to take it into ISC. This thing explodes with a great amount of force and will probably kill something. Everything. My fighters die because they fly around up here and are attacking it. However, if you park yourself right here, you get all your firing arcs. Everything just goes off. If you got a rear torpedo, boom. You got front torpedoes, boom. You got rear beams you got beams in the back, got it, cool. Fire at will is kind of silly because you're only fighting one target, but you can just beam overload everything all over. Just, and you got beams coming out of your ship in all places. I've done it on the my engineer. He had a Bortas, and I'd park the right there in ISC, and I would just like directed energy modulation, beam overload, emergency power to weapons, and I would just auto fire, just all the things all the time, just blow the hell out of it. Crank my beam power, and they would just shoot constantly. Dual beam shoot out, regular beam shoot out, anti-proton beam shoots out. You look like a little laser show. Really cool if you got like multiple types, and then you look like some gay laser party. I should do that. I should make a board. I should change. Nope, that's a bad idea. Anyways, that's pretty much the playstyles and tips and tricks. I mean, with an escort, like I said, try to way out here, sit still, and shoot in. That way, if you start taking too much damage, you can hit reverse and back up beyond 10 kilometers because the gate can really be a weirdo thing. So yeah, and just move out, come back in, come back into like 5 kilometers. Crystal and Entity depends. Like I said, if you're getting attacked, try to stay moving. If you're not, don't. I mean, it's fairly simple. Space combat's really simple. It only happens when you're hitting like multiple creatures, and that involves control. But yeah, we have really bad drawings today. So yeah, as we went how to shoot a gate, how to shoot a cube, and how to fly around a cube in order to stay moving, because remember, movement increases defense. You increase your defense by 50% just by moving at full throttle. And this works really well with like tactical cubes and these guys. Because they do a lot of damage, and depending on which one you're fighting, like I think 3, 8, and 9. No, 2, 3, and 9 are just dumb. Beyond all belief. I'm sorry. They're dumb. Like specifically 2. 2 is like, are you even trying, dude? I haven't fought 5 in a while, but I think 5's got a pretty dumb thing. 8 likes to shoot out a lot of regen probes. Oh my god. Fought a lot of these things, and I know what the tactics are for each number. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got eject warp plasma, you want to like drop it on its spine. You want to fart down its spine. That sounds gross. I will catch you guys later. Like I said, you have any question about Star Trek Online, I can explain stuff. We'll have another Let's Draw if you have advanced questions. I might have to hop on that character unless it's a science vessel. So yeah, again, comment below if you really want to see me apply the Tsar Thelm carrier. I've actually put the consoles on it and take it into combat, but still not very good with it. Bye.